everyone, and welcome to the cinematography presentation for Summer Film Camp 2022. I want to start this video off with asking everyone, what is cinematography? Cinematography is the art of making motion pictures. This job is done by a cinematographer. A cinematographer is responsible for all of the visual elements of a film. I will now be discussing what a cinematographer is responsible for. They make every creative choice related to composition, lighting, and camera motion. So it is basically anything that the audiences can see in a given shot. These three elements are important to keep in mind because the photography of a film is the most appealing to the eye of the audience. We're going to be talking about composition. In composition, there are rule of thirds, depth of field, over-the-shoulder shot, 180-degree rule, and rack focus. And here are some examples. Right here we have rule of thirds. Here we have 180-degree rule. We have depth of field, over the shoulder, and rack focus. Now we're going to be talking about lighting. Lighting is primarily the director's responsibility, but it is also important for the cinematographer to be mindful of lighting. There are 6 different types of lighting that we will be discussing. There's key light, backlight, fill light, eye light, soft light, and bounce light. Key light is the main light, which illuminates the subject and creates shadows. Backlight is the light that hits a person or object from behind and provides a sense of depth behind the subject. Fill light is the light that fills in the shadows created by the key light to soften harsh edges. Eye light is the light that is reflected off the eye. Soft light is the light from a large source that creates soft, ill-defined shadows. Bounce light is the light that is reflecting off of something. And here is an example of a standard 3-point lighting. You have the fill light, the camera in front of the object, the key light, and the backlight. We are now going to be moving on to camera angles. For camera angles, there's pan shot, 2-shot, close-up, Dutch shot, and tracking shot. For a pan shot, you are moving the camera left to right or right to left while on a tripod or other still device. A 2-shot is a type of camera shot that encompasses 2 people within one camera shot. A close-up shows the full head and sometimes the shoulders of the subject, good for adding drama or suspension in a scene and emphasizing subject's emotions. The Dutch shot is a camera shot which the camera has been rotated relative to the horizontal and vertical lines in a shot. A tracking shot is any shot that physically moves the camera through the scene for an extended amount of time. Now we can see the camera height varieties. You can see that there is camera above the model, camera at eye level, camera at waist level, and camera at knee level. So here we have the extreme long shot, which shows a broad view of the surroundings around the character or characters, and is good for capturing scenery. Then you have the establishing shot, which is a shot that lets the viewer know where the scene will be taking place. Can be as general as a shot of the city or as specific as a local coffee shop, and is good for avoiding confusion or discomfort among the audience when determining the setting. Then we have the aerial view shot, which is taken directly overhead the subjects, usually but not always from an aircraft or very high crane, and is good for action shots and adding suspense. Then you have the worm's eye view, which is opposite of bird's eye view and is a shot taken from ground level and the lens is pointed upwards. Then you have the point of view shot, and this is where the camera appears to be first person through individual perception. Then you have the long shot, which shows full body of subject along with some or a lot of surroundings, and is good for a character's entrance into a scene. Then you have the medium long shot, which shows the subject cut off just above or below the knees, far enough to show some surroundings but close enough to show facial expressions, and is good for filming conversations between 2 or more people. Then you have the medium shot, which shows subjects from the waist up, most frequently used type of shot because it replicates the human experience of proximity, and is good for conversations between 2 people, especially over the shoulder. Then you have the medium close-up, which shows subjects from the middle of the chest to the top of their head, and good for capturing reaction shots. Then you have the cutaway shot, which is a shot away from the main scene, usually showing what the subject is looking at, and is good for displaying more of the surroundings and or details of a specific subject or object being referenced in the main scene. Then you have the cut-in shot, which is a close-up shot for a subject in the main scene. It is good for revealing more detail of a subject or object. Then you have the high angle, where the subject is shot from above and is good for making the subject appear smaller and more vulnerable. Then you have the low angle, where the subject is shot from below and is good for making subjects appear taller and more powerful. Then you have the candid angle, where the subject is shot at a tilted angle and is good for making subjects appear distorted or revealing confusion. Then you have the handheld, where the camera is held by a person rather than being placed on a tripod or other still device. Then you have tilt, where you are moving the camera from up and down or down and to up. Then you have the dolly, where you are physically moving the camera towards or away from a subject while the lens stays fixed. Then you have zoom, which you are magnifying a specific area with the lens while the body of the camera does not move. Then you have dolly zoom, zooming the lens in while moving away from the subject or zooming the lens out while moving towards the subject to give a warped effect. Now we're going to be talking about the importance of location and sound. We're first going to be looking at location. Filming outdoors and filming indoors are two completely different things. When filming outdoors, there are a couple things to consider. The first one is background noise. Does it overpower your voice, and do you need to have your screen silent? What is the weather like? Is it raining, sunny, windy? Does this affect your background sound? And what time of day? Is it morning? Is it afternoon? How will this affect your filming? Is it too bright? Does the sun cast a shadow? And then when filming inside, do the fluorescent lights in your house make it seem unnatural and add a slightly yellow tint to your lighting? How loud can you be while still being mindful of others around you? Are you limited to space and what area you can actually film in? Make sure you ask if you are not sure about the location you are filming in. Now we're going to move on to sound. Good sound means that dialogue can be heard loud and clear. This can be done through boom microphones, microphone stands, and H2 recorders. The number one rule of using mics is making sure that you cannot at all costs see the mics in your film. Now we're going to be moving on to the description of the cinematography activity. So I will be showing you a series of video clips. When the specific video clip is over, you will write down on a piece of paper or type in a Google Doc what the demonstrated camera shot angle or movement is. Once you get done with all 10 video clips, either take a picture of what you wrote or share with me your Google Doc so you receive credit for doing this activity. And also please note that some of these video clips could have multiple possible answers, but which one is it trying to convey most? So here are your different video clips. Here is the first one. Here is the second one. The third one. The fourth one. Here is the fifth one. Here is the sixth one. Here is the seventh one. Here is the eighth one. Here's the ninth one. And here is the 10th one. So you'll go into this presentation on your own time and look at the full-length video clips for all 10 and write down your answers. And now I'm going to be wrapping up cinematography. You should combine all of the skills introduced in this lesson when filming both your at-home blitz and your final film. Us instructors understand that this is a lot of information, but the important part is that you try to absorb as much information as possible and use the information that works best for you when filming. And this is just a reminder that if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and here are our 2 emails.